So, good morning, ladies and few gentlemen who are there in the room. It's my pleasure to host this session, and especially with, as I say, such prominent personality who come with a lot of experience in that. Now, the topic that has been given to us that how women leaders can make this world equitable world. The point here is, I believe women leaders is the only leaders who can make this world more equitable. The reason is, and before I start on the discussion, I would like to give you few datas, and because I come with a kind of consulting background, and without data my work doesn't starts. So if we see, we represent almost 50% of the population worldwide, whether we talk about India or we talk about globally. But let's see what we represent in the workforce. In India, women represent only 26% of the workforce participation compared to the men who are like 78%. That's the gap. Second, when we talk about the literacy rate, in India it's 70% literacy rate, and that's as per the government records, compared to men who are at 84%. Now the thing is, why I'm giving you this data is to show that although we are doing a lot of work, but there is still a gap. And that is why when we talk about that we need to make this world an equitable world, there's a lot and lot that we still need to do. And just to give you what economic benefit it drives when we make this world an equitable world. If we will add just 10% in India's, if even the 10% of the women, like today we are at 26% of the workforce participation. If we add just 10% of more women in this workforce, how is it going to impact our economy? It will add around 770 billion in our GDP. That's the number we impact. And if India wants to become a 30 trillion economy by 2047, we need to add 70% of the women in the workforce. That's the challenge, and that's also our future target. Now, with all this data coming on, maybe I'll start my first question with Dr. Archana. That, Dr. Archana, you work a lot in the policy, you work with both the government and the corporate and all that. And if I have to ask you, what is that few policy changes, or I should say imminent policy changes, because policy drives the decision. And we are talking about making women more as a part of the workforce, to help them more as a part of the economic benefit. So what are those few policy changes that India should do and must do to have more participation and bring this equity, if you have to? And please introduce yourself in brief mode.
Thank you, Neelam. And thank you, audience. It's a very pertinent question which is being asked everywhere. Little bit about myself. I am chemical engineering graduate, born and brought up in small town, 1983. And if you have idea about who Kalpana Chawla was, she was my peer that time. And coming from a small town, my parents, I saw them, very orthodox family. I'll come back to the question what Neelam asking. Why I'm here talking about it is there's a journey to it. My father was always asking my brothers to do engineering and not me. So it was like, topping the district and not being asked to do engineering. I didn't understand then. I was very naive because we all were coming from small town. So I filled my form. Those days there was no internet. Not telling my parents, got selected because my marks were really good. And when I went to do engineering, I was ragged very badly because coming from small town, born in Prayagraj, did my schooling from Muzaffarnagar, and they said, you're coming from Uttar Pradesh. So it was like alien to me how to answer these questions. And for a girl where she saw her mother working all along and not being acknowledged for the work she was doing. So there were a lot of questions when I was growing up, but yes, engineering gave me a mind to think, to understand and to question the society. I was growing up, but then I lost my parents pretty early while I was in second year. I was asked to get married, now to do my post-graduation, though I was on scholarship. This journey which I took right from 1979 till date, is a journey where I'm questioning a lot of things, whether it's government, whether it's system, whether it's people, why it happened. And then got married, more than 3 decades, and again, a lot of questions were flowing with me. Being a mother, not allowed to work, though I was working with international agencies outside Delhi. I lived in Delhi for 20 years, did my engineering from Punjab University, and then I got involved with a group which was global group suggesting Goa government, Delhi government to do, you can say, refurbish or augment the Anganwadis, 1985 government program. We were successful in Goa. It was all global group, pro bono we were doing. But while I was doing for Delhi, where the government had changed, there was a bottleneck because internet had exploded. And we didn't know, I didn't know. Got again into education system, finished my post-graduation development management. That was in 2017 when I had turned 55. So, but when I was going through it, studying, all along I was thinking why women are like treated as second citizens of our country. That got me into talking to women. Until date I must have spoken to more than 3 lakh women, rural, urban, poor, rich, to understand why we are not treated, especially the homemakers, where they come from a space where their work is not validated, where their work is not acknowledged even in the system, even in the GDP growth. So when we say, it's in short, there's a whole history behind it. And in fact, during COVID times, domestic violence erupted to disproportionate levels. We did a research study, converted into a policy. The bill is lying in the parliament regarding, because we cannot change the society, which is a patriarchal kind of a place. But at least we can ask the systems to support women in every walk of life. So now coming back to the question, what Neelam has asked, what is the single most policy I would want the government to look into would be paid care leave, paid caregivers leave actually, leave for men and women both, where they can be part of the system, they can be equal part of the parenting, equal part of the family, equal part of taking care of the woman who has left her job, because that's what I did. I called it a parenthood, or I can say, being a mother penalty, where she is given equal opportunity to nurture her career, where in fact it has many benefits. The child gets both the parents' love, care, where the domestic work is divided, where the woman does not has to compromise on her career choices. That is what I think. That is one of the policy I would want the government to seriously look into it, which is like, caregivers or care economy, what we call the term now we are talking about. So that is one thing. And another thing is the very critical one where, the numbers which I got from COVID was creating a national registry for domestic violence abuse offenders, which is not in our country. That is why this problem is not addressed from a systemic level.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rachna. And I do echo that this is important. And we have seen, many women, and just to give you again a data, 20 to 25% working women, they leave their career during the mid-career because either they don't get the support system. But I believe there is a lot of changes in the corporate world also that's been coming up, and I hope, and I'm very hopeful that India Inc. is doing it, and there would be a policy level implementation as well. Now coming to Dr. Prema, you have been, so from policy to let's shift more forward to education level, because education is the one which shapes the future leaders. And Dr. Prema comes with a vast years of experience in the education, from a teacher to an education strategist. And, and I was just talking to her in the morning. She owns a group of chain of institutes. Now, but I wanted to know, Dr. Prema, from your experience, from your journey, as they say that education, they shapes the future leader. What is that shift in the education we need to do? Because we still lack a lot of women leaders. So what is that shift required to have more and more women leaders, in the future and in the generation to go?
Thank you. Thank you, Neelam. And a very good morning to one and all here. Seeing so many women in a platform like this is simply awesome. And I should thank the organizers for giving us an opportunity to be a part of this, not to undermine the few gentlemen around, because my life has been, I've reached here only because of a man, my husband, my father. So I know that coming up the ladder, especially empowering ourselves to be who we want to be, is not easy. Life was never a bed of roses. When I started my career 40 years ago, I was a kindergarten teacher. Never did I realize that I would get out of the four walls of that classroom to become what I am today, an ISO 21001 lead auditor for the globe, auditing the colleges, universities, and the schools. Thankfully, it was not a bed of roses. I had to push boundaries. I had to push myself. I had to prove my competence at many occasions. I had to break stereotypes. But at the end of it all, coming from a background where my father was a wing commander, so that blood kept me reminding me always, saying, one has to stoop to conquer. So challenges will come in, and for those teachers who are here, yes, when you're a teacher, you follow the rule book. But remember, when you get to become a leader, you rewrite it. Only when you rewrite the rule book, will you be able to empower yourself. We are visionaries already. There is this vision in us. But because of the various diverse roles that we take in our life, where I still remember Titanic, a woman's heart is as deep as an ocean. And I'm sure here we are all smiling so beautifully, but within us, we know the struggles we are going through. So this beautiful quality that we have, it has to be nurtured. And who else other than educators can do it? So I am here to tell you that I myself am a testament to women empowerment. And I can say that loud because I didn't stop with me getting that empowerment. I ensured it's happening wherever I am. And for that, you should ensure that you leave a legacy behind. Mark your footprints where you go. The power to rise lies within you. The power to win lies within you. And we can do it. It is not at all difficult. However, we do have this problem of equity, gender equity, right? Whenever we want to do something, the preference always is, oh, can women do that? But when you tell yourself, and lead, be the change. That's all is the mantra we need today. We talk about changes, we see changes, but how do we, because you must remember that when you dare to do something, you're sidelined, you're out. And in my 40 years, I have changed 13 organizations. And let me tell you, out of these 30 years, I was abroad. I spent a good 20 years, again, starting from a teacher to that of getting into the minister's office as an academic auditor, auditing the government colleges in Oman. Who thought that a kindergarten teacher could reach that level? Who would have even dreamt that you are sitting there as a sole Indian lady amongst a whole load of locals, and the minister says, if she is around, I know things are in place. It could never have happened if you didn't kindle this light within you. And now coming to education, this transformation that has happened over the last 4 decades is something I've seen and grown. And rest assured that there are certain skill sets that is required to empower women. And thankfully, I'm so grateful to the government today to, after a good 37 years, coming up with a national education policy. Yes, the huge challenges in implementing it, but the autonomy, the freedom that is giving it, that it empowers on kids is something that is definitely going to take India one step, not one step, maybe 100 steps up the ladder. However, if there needs to be any certain takeaways, I'll give you 4 takeaways. We should have skill sets developed where you move from compliance to confidence, from stereotypes to strengths, from gatekeeping to mentorship, and finally, from tokenism to transformation. And all of this is possible when you empower yourself. And how do you empower yourself? Always in the schools, I mean, we've always seen that, we've had this very traditional rote type of learning, and we never had a chance, at least I never had a chance, where somebody asked me a question which I had to have critically think about it, where I had to use my experiences, life experiences, where communication was the key forte for everything, right? So all of these decision-making power, critical thinking skills, empowering yourself, taking the lead and being the change. These are the changes that should come in what we call the curriculum, and I'm super excited to announce that if we get the NEP implemented, I am sure that all of you sitting here, I'm talking to the younger generation, if you're sitting here, you will definitely get to empower. Maybe you'll all get to become strong entrepreneurs, which is what is the norm in the days ahead. Do not look for opportunities anymore. Try to be solution providers, and everything is yours for life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Prema. And what a powerful line, that the power to win lies within yourself. I mean, that is my takeaway at least. And we have a lot of students sitting up here. And, rightly you said, having spent 22 years in the manufacturing sector, where in India, very few women opt for. We have only around 18% of the representation in manufacturing. Sometimes, I used to be the one single manager out of 80 people. So when you represent less, your voices are not heard that. And that is why we need more and more women, either in the leadership or in the various sectors. And that can only come, as she was saying, we need to skill ourselves. We need to compete. We need to go in that zone of transformation. And that's why I believe, I truly admire and say that is, have some time devoted to that self-learning, being the part of the transformation. Now, we understood about education, the policy. Let's understand from the people who have done it. So we have Dr. Ovilia Fernandez. She is a pilot. She has her own aircraft organization, and I believe more than 15 companies and representation in multiple countries. She has been a successful entrepreneur. Many of us wish to become an entrepreneurs, and we are in the process of, I will say myself, I'm a new entrepreneur, still learning on the entrepreneurship. But we have people who have done it. We have people who have demonstrated it very successfully. And I wanted to ask you, Dr. Ovilia, that, you doing all those and then setting up a company and then being a successful entrepreneur, what's your message? What is something from your journey that you wanted to share with the people who are aspiring to become a successful entrepreneurs?
Thank you so much for your kind words. Hi everyone, good morning. My name is Dr. Ovilia Fernandez from Dubai. I'm an industrialist, pilot by profession. I've been into the aviation, into flying since 30 years now in the Middle East countries. I live in Dubai. I've been born and raised in Middle East countries. Thanks for Dr. Neelam for your kind words. Uh, I own a group of 15 companies in 4 different countries, that is Dubai, Austria, Germany, Singapore, and most of the Middle East countries. We just started operating in India from past 2 years as a new branch, I can say, an extension of us. I always believe I would empower everyone, including guys, men and women. There's nothing called impossible in this world. I consider it as the biggest inspiration or motivation, as one of our ex-president, the great scientist, Dr. Abdul Kalam, has always said there's a very famous phrase, dreams are those which don't allow you to sleep at night. Dreams are not those which you see during in your sleep. So I am a go-getter. I don't believe in looking for opportunities. I believe in creating opportunities, chasing opportunities. That's my hobby and interest, you can say, when it comes to signing tenders and achieving the tender deadlines of different governments around the world. That's about me. I'm more into women empowerment. Grateful to African Union, they have awarded me as Mother of African Nations. My company has been a part of hiring single mothers from around Philippines, Indonesia, and African countries. I believe in empowering women. There's nothing called a age to learn. When you gift education, you're gifting education to a country, you're gifting an education to the world. This is the way I believe. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ophelia. And so after learning on education policy and listening from a successful entrepreneur, let's come to, all this also relates to finally how are we managing our finances. In India, especially on the personal finance, in India still we have seen all the women are earnings, but their finances are being managed and governed by their husbands. We have seen it most, and I believe this happens most of the cases. So, but if there is a finance control, if a woman knows how to manage the finances, and financial decision making are important to create this gender equity. Binny comes with a lot of experience in the finance sector, and this is where we are going to learn, Binny, from you. What is that few changes that either the corporate level should be doing to have created more gender equity in the financial decision making? And I'll ask it from both the corporate and also as well as the personal finance that, as I was talking. So your views on that?
Sure, thank you, Neelam, for this thought-provoking question. So hello, everybody. This is Vinny Sharma. I'm a cost accountant by profession, and I'm currently working in an FMCG company in Nestle. Currently, I'm on my mission assignment in Thailand. Before this assignment, I've always been home sheltered before I've taken up this assignment in Thailand. I belong to a Punjabi family where, like most of the Punjabi parents, my parents have also seen the dream that I got married by the age of 22. But right now, I'm in my mid-30s and I'm still not married. So the world is changing, and of course, my parents are also changing. And of course, there is a need to change that percentage of the women right now, which is contributing in the corporates. So without dwelling more on my personal front, I think I would like to dwell more on the thought-provoking question which Neelam has asked. Are we really saying that we are male-dominant, specifically in the country where our finance minister is a very powerful woman, Nirmala Sitharaman? And even in my own company, Nestle India, we got a first ever woman in finance function as CFO, Svetlana Boldina. And in fact, currently where I'm working in Nestle Thailand, 95% of the women who are working in 95% of the people who are working in finance are women. But ironically, I cannot drift away from this fact that yes, there is a gender gap when we talk about the top leadership. And it's not only in finance, it's across the functions. And specifically when I talk about the study, which says that nearly 20 to 25% of women basically contributes in the senior roles, but this goes down significantly to 6 and 7% when I talk about the C-suite roles. And you know, the problem is not at the entry level, because management, because you know, the companies have really maintained a good, healthy gender balance when in the beginning. The proportion declines and reduces mainly when we talk about the leadership or the senior roles, which indicates glass ceiling effect, where women struggles to go up in the ladder because of various reasons. And companies should take this very seriously and try to find out the reasons that why it is happening, and should take appropriate action. And it could be, bringing the mentorship programs where senior leadership should guide the women and should bring the mentorship to the women for their career path. Companies should foster a more inclusive environment by offering the flexibility in the working hours. And in fact, it is also very important for the companies to focus that they should introduce the networking programs for women, specific networking programs. And in those programs, few men should also participate, so that they understand that women has a lot of potential. They just need support and guidance, and they can go back and tell this to their community as well. Basically, companies should also provide different opportunities for the development of the women. Like I got this opportunity to be in Thailand for my expat assignment. And I believe that, I got, this assignment has been really a transformative journey for me, not as professionally, but personally as well. Now I exude more self-confidence, independence, and also gained a lot of new perspective. So, as a woman, I know that at times, we need a halt, or we need a pause in our life, right? Especially when we are maybe starting a new life, or maybe at times when we are during our pregnancy period. But I think we should not take this as a break and slow down. We should take this as a recharge mechanism and come back even stronger. Because at the end, competition stays. And we will go up in the ladder not because we are women. It happens because we are a deserving woman. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Benny. And now we are going to have the rapid fire with our panelists. And I have told them that they have to respond only in 1 or 2 words. So that will go on. So if I have to ask, and I'm going to ask anyone, so be prepared for that. What is that most important catalyst that we need to have for an equitable world, Dr. Prema? I mean, they have to respond in 1 or 2 words, guys, and this is where we will all test ourselves.
I'll take just a short sentence. I still will fall on the base of who I am, education. Because education for me is everything, right? So when I say education, it's not simply education, because education is actually an equalizer. So education as an equalizer to build an equitable world. Agreed?
Great. Education equalizer to build an equitable world. Dr. Archana.
Thank you. I would say youth. They are the change makers and they're the catalyst of change, because we are at the stage where a lot of things are changing. Technology is like, has entered our lives, and they are the people who can really make infinite change in our world. And that's what I say, youth, all of you sitting there,
All of us.
all of us.
Yes. Dr. Ovilia.
I think transformation, self-transformation, motivation, the strong willpower support from the family is very important. That plays a very strong catalyst role.
Thank you. Binny.
Definitely empathy, and which as a woman we all have. And this is one of the distinct instinct which brings everything together.
Thank you, thank you. So we have heard education, policy, transformation, empathy, family, I mean, all the words that I have now, even I cannot remember all this, but I believe what we have said. So women are the drivers of the equitable world, and we need more and more women to create the sisterhood, to support each other. I believe that is the only way of making this world a more equitable. So pledge to have support for each other and in this journey of this. Thank you, panelists. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Neelam.